What's going on, family? It's your girl Guruji Chastity, and today I am here with another exciting installment of Beginning Reiki, right? I hope you guys have been tuning in. This is the 6th class to Beginning Reiki, and today we are talking about my level 1 Reiki attunement experience. I really wanted to share that with you guys. Please disregard my voice. I got some nasal drainage, man. I'm doing a detox. You feel me? A herbal detox, and so it's getting all of that gunk and stuff out. And you know, my voice a little nasally. You know, got me sounding like my brother keeps sweating in mud. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, we digress and we keep it moving. So boom, I want to share 3 things, right? I want to share how I actually found my Reiki master, what it was difficult for me to let go of, and the top behavior that receiving Reiki just eliminated out of my body. It was, we'll get there because it's juicy. All right, so boom. First things first, it took me forever to find my master, Jasmine Dominique, and let me tell you why. Because she's black. As simple as that. She's black. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. Anytime I Googled or researched Reiki Master or Reiki Attunement, it was all white people. Nothing against my white brothers and sisters who practice the loving art, right? I have plenty of Reiki Masters and teachers who are white, who make me feel safe and secure. But I knew that when I did my own personal attunement, I wanted to be attuned by somebody who looked just like me, right? And who had the same similar background from where I came from. And so that left me nowhere for quite some time. I want to say at least 6 to 8 months. I just researched Reiki. I just read about it. It took me a while to comprehend the reason for an attunement, because I was definitely of the mindset, well, if everybody has the ability to do Reiki, what I need an attunement for? Like, how does that work? What's the purpose of that? And as I slowly began to understand, for example, one person who really broke that down to me was Heather Meyernick. She just explained how we just keep upcharging the levels. And as I went on my own understanding of it, I just related to a toaster, right? Like, I can toast bread. We all can toast bread, right? But if you don't have an attunement, the highest you can toast bread is like 35 degrees. Not because you don't have the power or the ability to upcharge it, but you got all that other bullshit going on, like work, stress, your body, you're not eating right, not watching TV, all kind of other stuff, to where your watch just a little bit low, right? But when you get level Reiki 1, you can toast bread at 150, right? Level 2, you like at 250. We can toast bread at 250. But then when you become a Reiki master teacher, it's all about, bro, we not a toaster no more. I'm a toaster oven. I got a good 350, 450 degrees. I get you in by 15 minutes, a good wipe a chopper. You know what I'm saying? And so that's not to say when you're a Reiki master, your sessions, right, they last longer than 15 minutes, but you get what I'm saying here, family. And so it took me a minute to really grasp onto that concept of, like, why do I need those attunements? But once I had that in my mind, it was like, okay, bet. So I couldn't find a master, right? And so I just kept reading about it. At this time, I worked at a night job. I was doing DSP, so I was sitting with disabled people. And every night, I would just keep typing it in. Keep Reiki Master African American. However, I had to flip them words, I kept typing it in. 9 times out of 10, I found myself on the same websites, kept looking at the same stuff. And the information was the same until one day it wasn't. I was on Cosmic Connections website. I seen that same post, seen that same picture. I clicked on it and it was like, Jasmine Dominique. She was hand delivered to me, and it was the most amazing thing ever. It was great, right? It was great. But it took me a long time to actually find a master for me. And I'm definitely one of those people who is like, yo, if I'm ready to do it, I'm ready to do it. Like, what are we waiting for? But that was like the first time that I actually had to wait for something, and waiting to get my master was probably the best decision I could have made, because I didn't rush to just go ahead and get an attunement from somebody just because they did it in the city. You know, I have a connection, I have a relationship with my Reiki master, and that's essentially what I wanted. Somebody to not only attune me, but be there with me as I went on this journey. And because I went into it with my own agenda, like, yo, I'm about to get my first attunement, my next one coming up in this amount of time, and this is what we about to do. That shit took me like 2 years to complete, when I thought I was finna run up a check that first year. maybe 2.5. Like, it took me some time, right? It really took me some time. This that elderberry tea right here. It's like it don't taste nasty, but it don't smell good. So I ain't gonna brace yourself for you. Okay, boom. Okay, boom. So that's how, Reiki really unfolded for me, and I had the process of getting my Reiki master. The next thing I want to touch on is letting go. The one thing that I was not prepared to let go of, but Reiki totally shifted my perspective of it, was alcohol. Oh my gosh. When I tell you, like, even now, let me sip a wine cooler for that amount of time, and just how I sip this, I'm buzzed already, right? I did not know until my Reiki master told me that alcohol was poison. It never did none of that in my brain. I'm thinking this is just a drink. It's a juice. Yeah, it tastes good. It's rubbing alcohol, but it's not clicking that it's poison. Literal poison. Like, I know it affects you because it's rubbing alcohol, not because it's poison. And then this is what we all do in our culture, in our society, to loosen up, to fit in, to calm down, to be more ambitious or come out of your shell, right? You drunk alcohol. Well, Jasmine slowly but surely helped me see that when you accept Reiki into your body, you're accepting a higher frequency of energy, right? It's pure energy that's now being delivered to your body, right? But then when you drink alcohol, that's pure poison that you're ingesting and putting into your body, so the shit don't mix. And I would try regular alcohol, then I would try wine coolers. The last straw was literally, I got shit-faced off of a wine cooler, a can wine cooler, and then there I go drinking that shit. I thought that was just normal regular alcohol. That's malt liquor. That's bad for you off rip, right? So I'm at an event, I drank a little wine cooler so I could feel a little jazzy, you know what I'm talking about? And I am upchucking a wine cooler. You would have thought I done downed shots. I'm drinking wine coolers, man. You see what I'm saying? And so one of the major reasons why it was so hard for me to let go of alcohol was because it was normal. It's normal. Everybody did it. Everybody does it. We do it to have a good time. I didn't know that it's something that I should be leery of or cautious of, or that it was going to affect my body totally different. And so once I got my level 1 attunement, it was probably like a year and a half later until I really was like, okay, alcohol is just not a major staple for me. Because shit, sometimes I don't even remember that I have suffered from alcoholism, right? And most people wouldn't even know this about me. Dude, the only bone I've ever broken in my body, the only traumatic, like, physical thing I feel like that's happened to me that I could think about was I broke my tibia bone on my left knee because I was drunk. And that was like a eye-opening for me. It was like, okay, sis, you got a problem type vibe. But again, I wasn't introduced to Reiki, so it was still normal. It was still like, okay, you overdid it that one time, but moving forward, these are the steps or the changes that we have to make type of, right? That's how it was playing out in my head. So it took me like a year and a half to completely see, not based on how I felt, but based on internally and externally what was happening. I had to it was like cognitive dissonance, like, the universe, your body is saying, bruh, this is not good for you. But my mind is like, how not? We've been doing this. Go, 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 go. And my body be like, blah. It just don't go. It didn't go. And so it took me a long time to really get that lesson. The next thing that I wanted to share was, that I said in the beginning, the one behavior trait that I could not cure or fix on my own, even after multiple times, years being told this about myself, is my passive aggressive behavior. And for me, passive aggressive behavior was a thing because I would keep my emotions to myself. But remember, the main thing that you learn in Reiki is that dis-ease or discomfort is nothing more than a mismanagement of your emotions. So when I was overweight, when I was anxious, right? I used to have bad skin. I used to wake up every morning and have horrible poops. Excuse me. Right? All of these things were going on, but it was because I would just keep my feelings with me. If I didn't trust you, I didn't feel you worthy enough, or I didn't feel like, me and you got a connection, I just didn't want to burden nobody. Or I always felt like once people really got to know me, they wouldn't like me, because that's what it seemed like in my home environment, right? I felt like I was told certain things growing up about myself that my parents or my immediate family didn't like. So I put it in my head, well, shit, I came from them. They supposed to love me more than anybody. So if they saying I'm a dud, when I go out here, I'm figuring I'm gonna be a dud too. So I just learned how to keep all the dudness. So I thought I learned how to keep all the dudness within, but it didn't do nothing but kill me, right? So I was overweight, uncomfortable, just not happy. And that was the one activity that, no go. We don't do that no more. Prime example, had a partner, right? I was a yoga teacher training. This was my fault. I didn't get gas the night before, and I know I had to be at school at 7. And we don't play that. We on time, right? Well, my car won't start. Now I gotta go tell my partner to help me get gas. Well, I don't know if she wasn't moved. I forgot what happened, but it wasn't going how I wanted it to go. So I stormed out of the house, and I let out like a scream, like because I was just frustrated, right? But I never conveyed to my partner what was going on with me. I just stormed out the fucking house. She heard me scream. I get gas and I leave. I go to school. I never say, you know what, I'm sorry, or this is my fault, I'm late, or I appreciate you for helping me, or this is, how I feel, or this is what's going on. Bro, I get to school, I cannot function. I literally, my body, it seems like I just got drunk. I got drunk on the way to school, and now I'm throwing up, right? I couldn't, because I had all of those deadly emotions within me, and I didn't do anything with them, right? I tried to project them onto somebody else or just leave them with me. And when I was trying to function regularly, my body was in breakdown. This has happened before. Sometimes, well, I mean, of course, I just told you it happened. But I have other examples that I won't get into. But because I've learned, like, oh shit, we don't do that anymore. That's not how you handle it. But I've been in certain situations where I was going through a major problem, but I let 3 or 4 days go by without expressing how I feel or what I needed, and my body completely shuts down. When I mean shut down, I mean shut down. I look like death, to where I have to be helped, or at least at this point in time, the person knows, like, look, bro, I understand that you might be trying to deal with this on your own or something, but I can physically see that you're in pain. Like, I can't sleep. Bags under my eyes real sunken, crying. I don't have clear and concise thoughts, and we know talking is my gig. You know what I'm saying? And so, woo, that was a major thing and a major lesson that I learned in doing that, right? In having my level 1 Reiki experience. It's all about, dis-ease is what creates illness within our body. Right? And so if we can learn to be okay with how we feel and express that shit, nobody would get sick. Whew. Okay, my bad, saying like I riled up on that last one. So it was like, okay, boom. Once I realized, like, yo, this is what passive aggressive behavior before, right? Your body could handle it. When my body was overweight and I was uncomfortable, that was normal, right? Those are normal sensations. It didn't show up like, oh my gosh, she drunk, because it had all of this other stuff on top of it. But now, since I live a more healthier lifestyle, I do more work with Reiki, all of that good stuff, my body can't handle it. My body is just like, no, bro, we don't do this. We don't participate in that. And so I have spent many a years, many a conversations with many a women about my behavior, about how it makes them feel, because I wasn't always able to express myself and do so in a loving way and feel safe and secure in my own body. And because I didn't feel that way in my own body, my body internally it went through phases of protecting me, but also phases of attacking me, right? I put on weight because my body knew that I didn't feel safe, I didn't feel secure, I didn't feel protected. So externally, it did all of that for me. But the attack would come when we did all of this weight, and now I'm internally anxious because externally I don't look how I want to look, right? And so it was always something that made it seem like an uphill battle when Reiki came through and said, look, that's why they look. Man, right? It's like, Reiki be like, man, fix your hair, bro. That's why you can't see, because you got your hair all in your damn face. Just pull your hair back. That's how Reiki works. And so those are the 3 major things that I wanted to share about my level 1 experience. And the first one being, like, yo, stick to what you know. Stick to what's comfortable for you, right? If I didn't stick to knowing, this is what I knew. I wanted somebody who looked like me to provide me my Reiki session. And because I knew that, and because I was willing to wait for that and wait that out, I was able to actually find a master that did that, right? Who secured that for me and provided me all of those feels that I was looking for. And the second one, whatever earthly tie that you have to something, be ready to let it go. You might not have to let it go fully, but Reiki will show you how something is not serving you if it doesn't. If you can't see it with your own internal awareness or your external external awareness, if you can't peep the game on that, Reiki will either say, yo, this is completely wrong, or hey, let's look at this and let's evaluate this. And this is exactly what happened to me when it came to alcohol. I had to shift my perspective. I had to know that it was that it was poison. I knew that it was alcohol, but I still don't know how to make this make sense to y'all. It never crossed my mind that alcohol was poisoning, that I was self-poisoning myself. That's why my vision started to go out, or I started to feel loopy, because I'm poisoning me. I never knew that, right? And so that's what Reiki gave me the opportunity to see. Like, nah, sis, you don't have to stop doing that. But what you will do is be aware of what you're doing to yourself. And that way you have control over it, right? I have spent many a times where, like, yo, I just want to get tipsy just a little bit. Next thing you know, I'm either asleep or I'm throwing up or don't feel good, right? Because I didn't really know what was happening, why I wanted to do this, what was the point, what was it actually doing to me, right? But when Reiki gave me that opportunity to see that other perspective, I could then make a choice about how alcohol would show up for me, or how I wanted to use it, or if I ever wanted to participate in it. And what I come to realize is that, I mean, I've been knowing that it was nasty. I would always say, nobody drink for taste, I drink to get drunk. You feel me? But now, these days, the most I drink is like wine. And then if I'm feeling saucy, I can drink a regular drink, like an alcohol, like a mixed drink. But I know how to pace myself. I know what to do. I know that in between my own level of awareness and breathing, I really can finish one drink and be straight. I don't have to keep going, right? But I wouldn't have never had that perspective unless it was for Reiki. I would have just kept testing the waters with the alcohol, really. Like, that was always my goal. How we see that shit on the movies. Then people be drunk and fucked up all the time, and they just be going. Nobody got sick, nobody passed out, they were just partying. I've always wanted to experience that. And so I was okay with testing that out, with taking my body through all of that and figuring out, okay, what was my happy medium? What was the drink? You know, is it nighttime or daytime, right? I was willing to go through all of that, but I didn't have to, because Reiki told me. Sister Cat. And then last but not least, Reiki saved me from being a passive-aggressive asshole for the rest of my life. Because Lord knows I done made some rooms uncomfortable because my energy was so big and I didn't know how to express it. And that was something that I had to learn about myself. Sometimes my emotions were so big, hell, that they frightened me. And so Reiki was like, oh, okay. You remember that big elephant that you had left in that other room about 2 years ago? Well, here you go. You know, we want to look at it. What you want to do with it? You want to talk to it? Well, do you like the color? Like, Reiki gave me the opportunity to examine the parts of myself that I really did tuck away, right? I didn't always know why I was passive aggressive, but when I came into Reiki and they taught that the mismanagement of emotions is why we're uncomfortable, why we get sick, it was like, oh wow. Once I took on Reiki energy, my body will not let me not speak up for myself. And if it does, it's up to my own demise, you know? Like, because I know what's happening and I have the awareness, my body lets me choose. Reiki lets me choose, but it's always like a tough mother. When you sitting there crying and boo-hooing, she don't do nothing to alleviate that pain. She just sit right there with you and say, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna make it through the other side, but you got to sit through the choices that you make. That's what Reiki has allowed me to do by changing my behavior and not being so passive aggressive and just speaking up for myself, speaking from my heart, and not being afraid I'm going to hurt somebody else's feelings. If I'm speaking from my heart, hurting somebody else's feelings should be the last thing on my mind, because I'm speaking from a true and authentic place, right? But when I was speaking from facades and just other points of being that weren't truly me, I did run the risk of hurting somebody else because I wasn't speaking from a core sense of place. Sometimes I could have been running off somebody else's script. I could have been interpreting how to do shit just to fit in, whatever the case may be. But yeah, man, Reiki has definitely helped me not be passive aggressive at all. At all. That shit just don't work for me. I really get sick out here. And so that's what I want to leave you with, family. My level 1 Reiki is a 2-minute experience. And so if you're curious about Reiki, that's what this series is about. It's beginning Reiki, to give you the opportunity to, get those questions answered, or explore the different avenues or aspects of Reiki that you maybe didn't know about, but you're interested in pursuing it. And that's what this entire 10 video series is about. And so we've been doing a lot of lectures, a lot of PowerPoints, and so I wanted to take the opportunity to share directly from the heart and give you what Reiki was like for me when I received my first experience. That shit wasn't easy. Again, being passive aggressive, I didn't really cry or emote externally. Bruh, my level 1 experience, I remember calling my mama, like, ain't nothing wrong, but girl, I'm just crying. Like, my emotions just going through it, right? I was just laying in the bed crying because it just brought up so much. All the stuff that I tried to hide and just said, no more. And so, alright, family, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. This was my level 1 Reiki experience. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, I love you. Peace out.